Welcome back to Stadium Hot Dog. This series, Archie's Football Grounds of London, will be based on the Scottish engineer Archibald Leitch and how pivotal his football grounds were to the development, histories as well as identities of the football clubs that he worked with during the early 20th century. Archibald Leitch worked for 5 of London's then 11 league clubs by the time construction began at the new Empire Stadium, which was latterly known as Wembley Stadium. Crystal Palace were the 6th London club Leitch worked for and were in the 2nd Division at the time after they became the first champions of the new 3rd Division in 1921. After the conclusion of the 1851 Great Exhibition in Hyde Park, the Crystal Palace was moved to Upper Sydenham in South London. Once up, the Crystal Palace was the main attraction in the middle of a large amusement and recreational park. Staff from the Crystal Palace formed the first Crystal Palace Football Club in 1861 and became one of the founding members of the Football Association in 1863. The Crystal Palace Football Club we know today was a later creation established in 1905 as a professional outfit. It was also based in the Crystal Palace grounds. The Crystal Palace team, known as the Glaziers, played in a stadium which was located east of the park in 1895 and from then until 1914 was the FA Cup final venue. 120,000 fans attended the 1913 Cup final. The Crystal Palace Athletic Stadium was immense and only a short distance away from the railway station, which had direct links into central London. The stadium now, over the years, just like with the rest of the Crystal Palace National Sports Centre, has deteriorated. In March 2023, the Mayor of London announced plans for a comprehensive renovation of the site. Let's hope this is the case. There will be another video on this in the future. Palace attracted modest support and were forced to move out of the ground due to it being acquired for the war effort during the First World War. By the end of the First World War, Crystal Palace were playing home games at the Nest. This was on Selhurst Road, which is now the site where Selhurst Railway Depot is located. The Nest was the home ground of Croydon Common, who were nicknamed the Robins, so it was the Robins' Nest. For Palace, who had no direct Football League neighbours, the nearest at the time being Millwall and Charlton Athletic to the east, this provided an opportunity to move close by and to become the area's growing footballing force. Land became available nearby after the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway were looking to sell a 12-acre site. Crystal Palace paid over £2,500 for the land, in contrast to Arsenal's £46,000 for the freehold of their 10-acre site in Highbury. Leitch's plans for Selhurst Park involved constructing a single basic corrugated stand seating 4,500, with standing room for 1,500, as well as 3 sides of open terracing. Work started in December 1923, however by August 1924 the stand was unfinished and only 12 steps of terracing on the 3 open sides were completed. Adverse weather conditions in this time period, as well as a 7-week building strike, slowed down the progress of the stadium development. The following year Palace were relegated and Selhurst Park wasn't fully equipped, as the Athletic News had hoped that one day the ground could fulfil a 100,000 capacity. At its peak in 1979, Selhurst Park held 51,482. The main stand didn't reach the Leitch standard pediment. It took over 3 decades to complete the terracing. Very few changes occurred up until 1969, apart from the extension and recladding of Leitch's stand. The main stand, built in 1924, will be replaced by one with new features, including more seating, corporate facilities, increased disabled access, and a club museum. With reference to the club's heritage, the glass facade is inspired by the original Crystal Palace on Sydenham Hill. The main stand's capacity will increase from 5,200 to 13,500, which will bring the total capacity of Selhurst Park up from 26,000 to over 34,000. Thank you for tuning in to Stadium Hot Dog. Please like, subscribe and spread the word. Also, please share your thoughts and memories and let me know what you think. Catch you next time.